The purpose of this video is to provide an overview of the Flint Hills Metropolitan Planning Organization's travel demand model used to develop our long-range transportation plan titled Connect 2050. The travel demand model is one of the tools we use to forecast which roadways may have congestion in future years. The model allows us to understand how changes in population and land use impact the demands placed on our roads, helping us to identify priority projects in our long-range plan. A travel demand model has two key inputs: land use data and road network data. Running a matrix of land use and road network scenarios produces a series of outputs showing different demands. Projects identified as needed in most or all scenario outputs are projects that will likely be required no matter what the future brings. Identifying these priority projects is key to helping ensure our limited funds and resources are spent responsibly. Our Connect 2050 model builds upon the previous model developed for our last long-range plan. While the previous model showed how altering land use densities had a direct impact on the congestion of roadways, the Connect 2050 model examines the impact of potential population growth scenarios. Those scenarios are: number 1, our current 2025 population, or a no-growth scenario, and 2, our future 2050 projected population. To find our future projected population, historic population data was pulled from the U.S. Census Bureau and Kansas Certified Population Datasets. Despite overall growth the last 30 years, the last 10 years growth has been flat. In fact, since 2014, Junction City has lost over 3,000 people, and Manhattan has lost over 2,300. Focusing on the Manhattan area, if you take the loss of population in Manhattan and add back in all of the growth in Blue Township, St. George Township, and the city of St. George, the Manhattan area has only seen 1% growth. In other words, the Manhattan region isn't growing. Rather, we've seen a shift in where people are living. Despite the last decade of stagnation, future projections from the industry standard leaders of Woods and Poole predict considerable growth for all urban areas. Region-wide urban growth of 20% is projected, adding another 18,000 people, for a total urban population of 108,000 people living in the 5 urban and suburban areas shown on the map. It is of note, however, that even in the growing areas of Pottawatomie County, future population projections have been scaled back 25% since Plan Pottawatomie 2040 was adopted in 2019. With future populations established, the next step in the model process was to assign housing locations for the 18,000 new people. Working with local city and county staff and leveraging existing comprehensive land use plans such as Plan Pottawatomie 2040 and the ongoing East Manhattan Gateway Plan, the map above highlights where those new populations will likely live. Additionally, detailed employment growth was also identified and mapped. 3 road network scenarios were developed. They are the existing plus committed, modernization, and expansion networks. Road projects were identified by working with local city and county staffs and the Kansas Department of Transportation. The existing plus committed network, or the E plus C network, takes today's existing roads and adds projects that have committed funding and are scheduled to be built within the next 4 years. Key projects include the I-70 and K-18 auxiliary lane and new flyover bridge, the US 24 roundabouts at K-13 and K-113, as well as the expanded intersection of Kimball and Denison. Pottawatomie County projects include the paving and extension of Excel Road and the paving of Harvester Road between Lake Elbow Road and Excel Roads. In Wamego, projects include the paving of Elm Slough and the 3-lane expansion of Call Valley Drive. The modernization network takes the existing plus committed network and alters existing roadways to improve safety, add turning lanes, or even reduce the number of driving lanes where capacity is not an issue. Junction City projects include the 3-laning of 6th Street, Jackson Street, and Washington Street from 9th to Grant Avenue, all of which are currently 4 lanes. The idea is that when the roadways age and require reconstruction, they are rebuilt to the right size instead of spending money on an overly wide road. It should be noted that this and all model scenarios were run before Fort Riley closed Trooper Gate and moved access to Grant Avenue. In Manhattan, projects include the extension of Grandmere Parkway and paving of Marlatt Avenue to Sethchild Road, the 3-laning of Claflin Road west of K-State's campus, 3 lanes on Points Avenue, and Anderson from Reith to Annenberg Park. Bluemont Avenue stays 4 lanes, but becomes right in, right out only at 5th, 8th, 9th, and 10th Streets, improving safety and vehicle flow. In Pottawatomie County, US 24 stays as 4 lanes, but the planned frontage road network would be completed. Blue River Road and sections of Rockingham Road and Chapman Roads will also be upgraded to paved roadways. The expansion network takes the existing plus committed network and adds lanes to existing roadways and also adds new roads. In Junction City, projects include the I-70 and Taylor Road interchange, tying into the paving of Taylor Road, Liberty Hall Road, and Ritter Road north to K-18. Strauss Boulevard would also be extended west to Taylor Road. East Street would be extended north to Grant Avenue. In Manhattan, Bluemont Avenue becomes 5 lanes, Casement Road is expanded to 3 lanes, and Grandmere Parkway is extended to a newly paved Marlatt Avenue. In Pottawatomie County, US 24 is expanded to 6 lanes from McCall Road to Excel Road. Numerous roads are paved, including Elm Slough from K-99 west to Hopkins Creek, which is paved south to US 24. In St. George, Rockingham and Chapman roads are again paved. Before we look at model results, we need to introduce level of service, or LOS. LOS is a measure of congestion or capacity. Capacity is calculated by comparing the number of vehicles on the roadway to how many it was designed to carry. Level of service D is what engineers design our roadways to function at. A roadway functioning at level of service E or F is considered to be congested, although some capacity constraints should be expected during our morning and evening commutes. Roads congested at these peak commuting times are shown in orange or yellow on the following maps. A roadway experiencing more than peak time congestion or numerous hours of level of service E or F are shown in dark red. These roads have more serious congestion issues. Not all congestion is caused by lane capacity issues, however. Despite intelligent traffic signalization, or ITS, which optimizes flow, traffic signals often cause congestion by stopping traffic to allow for safe access to and from highways and main roads. In short, traffic signals are an unavoidable symptom of growth. As noted earlier, the travel demand model runs a matrix using different population and land use scenarios across different road networks. The population scenarios are 2025 population, or no growth, and our 2050 projected population, or high growth. And the road networks are existing plus committed, or E plus C, modernization, and expansion. This map shows level of service issues when today's population is modeled with the existing plus committed road network. Outside of the US 24 corridor between Manhattan and Blue Township, there is very little orange or red on the map, which corresponds with real-life conditions. This map will serve as our base comparison for all future scenarios. We will see how road networks and population changes affect the region's congestion. This map shows the impact of the population growth projected by 2050, modeled with the existing plus committed road network. Again, the US 24 corridor is the only large issue. It's hard to notice, but despite the large amount of predicted population growth, the red congestion line extends only slightly further east. Nearly all other small dashes of color are related to traffic signal issues around K-State and at the gates to and from Fort Riley. Overall, our region's roadway network performs very well in this high-growth future scenario. This map shows today's population modeled with the modernization road network. You can see the US 24 corridor changes from mostly red to orange in this scenario. This is due to the completion of the frontage roads providing local access as laid out in the US 24 corridor management plan study. Again, the rest of the region has minimal issues, including on roadways in Junction City and Manhattan, where roads were reduced from 4 lanes to 3. This map shows the impact of the projected population growth by 2050, modeled with the modernization road network. In this scenario, the population growth along the US 24 corridor overwhelms the 4-lane highway and the frontage road improvements, resulting in traffic congestion that is worse than what is experienced today. This map shows today's population modeled with the expansion road network. You can see the US 24 corridor congestion is nearly completely removed with the completion of the 6-lane roadway and frontage roads. The remainder of the region remains free from large-scale congestion issues. This map shows the impact of the projected population growth by 2050, modeled with the expansion road network. You can see the US 24 corridor does have peak time congestion between Manhattan and Blue Township, but this is an improvement from the current situation, as well as the E+C and modernization scenarios. Additional peak time congestion can be found along Green Valley Road. Congestion on K-18 between Westwood and Stag Hill Road is also present, but mainly caused by traffic signals. The next step in the travel demand model process is to identify projects that may address any of the capacity issues the various model scenarios presented. Some of these, such as the US 24 corridor from Manhattan to Blue Township, have existing plans and designs that need to be constructed. Projects identified will be assigned costs and timelines, and then a full fiscal analysis of revenues and road expenses will be completed. The outcome will be to demonstrate how the projects identified can be implemented over the next 25 years. However, the overall lack of congestion on most of the region's roads is a big positive and will result in the continued focus on maintenance and preservation of existing roadways. That said, the Flint Hills MPO is aware of the desire of many Pottawatomie County residents for a second connection between Manhattan and Blue Township. The MPO is hopeful to work with local governments and KDOT to complete a cost-benefit analysis of potential connection options. This study would look at costs, traffic, and hydrological impacts of various potential connection options. This would allow the region to have a conversation about what we can afford and the pros and cons of different routes, ultimately helping to find a path forward on a viable option. We hope this video has helped explain the travel demand model process and the output scenarios. If you have any questions about the information presented, please reach out to MPO staff. Thank you.